Downtown Vision
Yep.
publishes a report yearly, every other year.
Yeah, it's between every 1 to 2 years. It's about 18 months is what this report spans.
This thing is thick. It is 40 pages of data, of trends that are happening in downtown. Can you explain to the readers who the Downtown Vision is and why they exist, GC?
Yes, Downtown Vision is an organization there to promote the well-being of downtown Jacksonville, and it's funded through a self-assessment from the commercial business owners in downtown. We have a number of groups that are advocates for downtown, and this is one group that is absolutely critical. And one of the things that they are most known for is really tracking and measuring and compiling the data to show, to match along with the story, to show our growth as a downtown. They have been doing this for 20-something years, and I didn't really have an appreciation for this state of downtown report. I just assumed every downtown did something like this. But as I have been trying to track and measure and compare our growth to other downtowns, I find out that's not the case, because it is really hard to get all this data together and to do it consistently. So I love our friends over at Downtown Vision and this State of Downtown report.
We're gonna just talk about some of these statistics. I'm gonna read some of this. GC and I are gonna just kind of talk about it, what it means to investors. First is downtown population. Downtown now has 8,941 residents. That's nearly tripled in the last 10 years. And the population is now approaching what, GC?
10,000, baby.
10,000. That's the resident threshold. That is a well-known tipping point for sustained urban demand.
Guys, I have been preaching this and just shouting it from the rooftops for really probably about 3 years now about how important it is for downtown resident populations to grow, for your downtown to become a thriving economic engine for you. And in downtown Jacksonville, it has been something that has been hard to get off the ground prior to 10 years ago. I mean, I've been living here for almost 20 years, and we didn't even talk about downtown resident population for the first 10 years I lived here, because it was always around 3,500 or 4,000 people living here. And now we have 1.8 million people in our MSA here in our metropolitan.
1.8.
We have 1.8 million people living in Jacksonville and the surrounding areas. So
it's when I moved here, it was like 1.2.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's been growing, right?
Yeah,
it's been growing.
So
it is really important for us to create an environment where people love to live downtown, because when that happens, good things happen for us as a community, quality of life, jobs, economics, right? Median incomes go up. And as investors who own single family rental properties around downtown, rents go up and home prices go up and people can afford it. So to see that we are nowhere near 3,500 people living downtown now, and we are just about to cross the 10,000 resident threshold, likely will be the next report that comes out here, is super exciting. And maybe something just as exciting, maybe more exciting, you know which project is probably going to tip us over the scales?
Pearl District?
Pearl Square, baby.
Pearl Square.
Yeah. So the Pearl Square project, that is the project that JWB stood up, bought all the land, raised all the money, installed Brian Mull and Gateway JAX,
CEO for
and put it all together. So
Yeah.
that is likely going to be the project that is going to tip us over 10,000.
Let's talk about investment in downtown. Since January 2024 alone, $2.84 billion in projects have been completed or under construction, and the total downtown development pipeline exceeds $6.5 billion, spanning residential, healthcare, education, infrastructure, parks, and entertainment. GC, when I first brought up this like $6.5 billion number, you put some perspective on that, right?
Yeah, I tend to focus more on the amount of dollars that are under construction and in review, because under construction means that cranes are there, dirt is moving, dollars are actually being spent. In review is a step right before that. In the proposed section, which is $2.5 billion, sometimes, let me know if you've ever heard of this, a developer comes out, puts a big plan together, and it doesn't go through, right? So that's where that section can go up or down a little bit as far as the proposed section. So I tend to focus on under construction and review, which is $4 billion. But either way, $4 billion, $6.5 billion, things are moving. If you go back 3 years ago till now, we didn't have any cranes or dirt moving to show for it at that time. Now, when you are the average person walking through the streets of downtown Jacksonville, you see things and it is impossible to miss. It has taken a leap from like theoretical or strategic vision to like here on the ground. I feel it. Sometimes I complain because my parking or my, traffic patterns are affected, and that is a natural part of the growth and something that, we're excited to get to that phase.
In this report, the thing that I found really, really interesting, if I was to say two projects that I found most interesting in this report, is what I like to call the eds and meds.
You do love the eds and meds.
I do love the eds and meds, right? So number one is the $300 million University of Florida graduate campus that's officially coming to the La Villa neighborhood. I've told this story before. Like, I was very involved in downtown development in Miami, economic development in Miami. We had money, we had companies, we had rich people that wanted to live there, and like all this stuff. The thing that we would have killed for is a world-class institution, and they had to build it a different way, right? Like, they ended up creating a whole nother ecosystem funded by a billionaire.
I went to Austin and I asked people on the ground there, what was the best thing that happened to Austin? And they talked about how it was UT, University of Texas at Austin. And they talked about how once it became cool to be in Austin and we had brain gain and all those smart folks that were graduating stayed in Austin and got those high salaries and wages. And once they figured out how to keep them there, like that was the big jumping off point for Austin. Now in Jacksonville, we have some world-class universities downtown, which we love, and adding the University of Florida and the type of programs that they are going to focus on here. Think about what that does for jobs. Think about what that does for the talent base. Think about what that does for median incomes. And it's that flywheel.
Companies that want to use that talent base and that research.
Exactly. So I think this is one of, we'll look back and think about University of Florida coming here as one of the biggest things to ever happen in Jacksonville.
100% agree, man. What about meds? There is let me see, on the South Bank, Baptist Health is expanding its flagship campus with a 123,000 square foot emergency tower featuring 100 patient rooms. Downtown, add all this up, downtown employers are supporting 46,833 jobs. We talk about the pillars of the Jacksonville economy, right? And we mentioned logistics, we mentioned healthcare, we mentioned finance, we mentioned fintech, we mentioned government. And I feel like we don't talk enough about the healthcare. Man.
We don't.
I was just telling you, I was in Nashville last week. I was riding around with a client, and he was telling me how it's become one of the richest counties in America because all of the flagship healthcare brands have come there, and it's become this like incubator of healthcare business models and how impactful that is for high-paying jobs, for executive relocations, all these things that drive the real estate market. He was telling me that he's got houses, he's a property manager, he's got houses that rent between $10,000 and $14,000 a month.
Yeah, that was nuts when you told me that.
That's
crazy.
Nuts. And that's his sweet spot.
Wow.
Right? Like, that's his sweet spot as he was describing it to me, which was epic. And healthcare is this driver of great jobs. It's this attractor of like innovation and people that come here. Like I have regular conversations with folks that are living in Jacksonville because of healthcare. Like people move here for that type of stuff, and it drives hospitality, and it it drives so many other factors of the economy. It drives these like workforce housing kind of like jobs, right? Like the nurses and the upkeep of the building and stuff like that, along with the like higher paying jobs as well, man. I think it's massive, and we've completely like taken our eye off the ball of that. Like that's happening in downtown too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about livability. Downtown is transitioning from event-based to everyday livability. Downtown now logs 374,700 average weekly visits. That is a 9.8% year-over-year increase. And that's been driven a lot by this investment into upgrades of parks and infrastructure, 70 acres of parks, Riverwalk expansions, the Emerald Trail, McCoy's Creek restoration. Friendship Fountain alone averages 1,100 daily visitors. That blew my mind.
Me too.
And our walkability score right now in downtown is an 80, which is the most walkable neighborhood in Jacksonville already.
The value of living here is being shown by resident population going up, and the value of stopping by and visiting and thinking of downtown as a destination is shown in things like the number of visits going up. I don't know if you mentioned, but I also wrote down that hotel hotel nights booked and occupancy percentage are both up
Interesting.
year over year over year. I think I looked at the stats from 2020 till now. So 2021, 2, 3, as we got back off of COVID, we're still going up.
Leading indicator of population growth because people travel somewhere before they decide to move here.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So I wrote this down. We had 7 new public parks opened in downtown. Downtown's only 3.9 square miles.
Yeah.
7 new beautiful public parks that are open here. 17 new retail openings that happened in 2024 and 2025. So think like restaurants and bars and other places to go and shop. And we have another 20 new retail openings that are under construction and announced that are happening, will be happening probably by the next time that the report comes out next year and whatnot. So I always just go back to value, right? People flock to value. And when you see some of these things happening, people are saying, hey, you know what? Jacksonville is a great place for me to live. Downtown Jacksonville is a great place for me to live. And now we're starting to become a better and better place for people to visit.
When I look at these final numbers here that say how strong the residential sentiment is, right? Like it says it right here. 91.6% of residents say they like or love living in downtown. 51.5% say downtown has improved since they got there. Top reasons residents choose downtown: walkability, convenience, urban lifestyle. These are the things that we started talking about 4 years ago of what it takes to bring successful millennials and successful kind of like workforce to an urban core. It's all coming true with the promise of this type of lifestyle, a place that you have walkable amenities, a riverfront, open spaces, and hospitality events and like things that are happening,
And
man.
guys,
Jobs.
I'm so glad you said that. Like, I'm experiencing this in real time right now. JWB is experiencing this in real time right now because, guys, we just moved
that's right.
to our office location in downtown Jacksonville.
Yeah, we're the only 2 people in this building.
We are. This is the old office, and the studio isn't ready in the new office yet. So we're still doing the show here from the old office. But like, I got to go and drive downtown and park in the parking garage and walk 5 minutes to the building and like walk around, and I'm looking at these beautiful buildings as I'm walking down, and I'm seeing people on the streets, and then I walk into the building, our downtown building. And guys, I can't wait to show you, Pablo and I can't wait to show you the downtown office when that's going to be a part of Summit. We're obviously going to go on a tour there. The building is incredible, but it's not just this incredible space that we have. It's like my entire team is like, man, we're looking out the window and we see the library and we see Riverfront Plaza and we see these other huge buildings, and we're talking about going out to lunch at Bellwether, which is right down the street, and it's all these things. So like, working downtown is like, it is so fun. I texted my wife. I was like, I'm loving everything about being here. That was yesterday, and today has been great too. So it is cool, not just to kind of, shout it from the rooftops that like other people will love this. It's like, I love this. And then when you come and see it, I'm sure you'll love it too.
I keep thinking about what we talked about from the ULI report, this idea of going from an 8-hour downtown to a 16-hour downtown. And the fact that like an 8-hour downtown is a place that you just go, you work in the downtown office, you go home. And as it starts to become more and more of a destination, people start to move there. Now it becomes a place where 9 to 5 is open. And then from 5 to 2, it's open because there is restaurants and public parks and clubs and experiences, right? And all the data and all the numbers that you've put together that show that when a city goes from an 8-hour downtown to a 16-hour downtown, there's an average jump in home price appreciation by like 89%, right? And like, to me, like all these numbers are just feeding that beast, like daily visits, population growth, all this type of stuff feels like, it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it's just something that we've been seeing and we've been talking about it, but it's a prophecy being fulfilled.
The cool thing is that this has been done a number of times now. So the model has been proven. It's been proven in places like Tampa and Austin and Nashville. If you want to go to the State of Downtown report for Austin, the last one that was published right on the front of it, it said, "We are now an 18-hour downtown."
Oh, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like
okay.
Austin, whatever, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, set out to become an 18-hour downtown.
Yeah.
And that was their tagline. Like, I can't wait until the first page of the Downtown Vision Report for Jacksonville says, "We are now an 18-hour downtown," right?
Yeah.
Like, this is where we're going. And then you see the model that followed, especially in Austin. We brought up the University of UT at Austin. Now we have the University of Florida here, and the list goes on and on and on. So it's really exciting. This is not the first time this has ever been done, which as investors who are investing in rental property surrounding downtown, we don't have to take as much risk. This is not a huge leap of faith,
Yeah.
right? This is just happening surrounding the great economics of the investment decision.
Really, really cool, man. This was a really fun report to review. One last piece of advice. GC, what is it?
Don't be average.